So this is actually a question I got asked when I was doing my interviews here and at Manchester. And they were like, so why do you want to go to university and not conservatoire? And for me, it was never even a question. I was always like, I love to perform, but I also was so interested in the kind of the history of it all that it was never a question for me. I think, and then so I was like, oh, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, why are they asking me, almost, because it was never a choice for me. But then coming here and meeting everyone that turned down, and a lot of people got like full scholarships to these conservatoires and still turned them down to come here, and hearing them talk about, why they did it. And most of the time here, those people are going to now go to conservatoire and do a postgrad there and then probably become professional musicians. So I think it really depends what you want out of your undergrad. Or how you want to do music. So for me, I always knew I wanted to do more than performing because it felt more meaningful and interesting to me. But if you know that you just want to be a performer, then maybe conservatoire's the thing for you. I definitely think that if it's easier to go university conservatoire rather than conservatoire university to a degree, it's obviously not impossible at all. But I think that's more of the traditional path, and I think it has been for many years.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cambridge from the Inside. We're here with a new guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Laura. I'm a third year music student. I've just finished doing my finals here.
Nice, congrats. That's really cool. Must be. How are you feeling now finished?
Very free. The weight's definitely off my shoulders. Just enjoying the sunshine and spending time with friends.
Nice.
So it's been a nice week.
yeah, for sure. I can imagine. And here we're here to talk about studying music at Cambridge. We're going to go through what the course is like, how you found the course, and different like music opportunities that there are at Cambridge and Trinity Hall. So firstly, for anyone who's watching and they're trying to work out which university course to do, was wondering what made you choose to study music?
So for me, my A-levels were maths, physics and music. And it got to the point where I was like, maybe I'll do physics for the kind of career side of things. But then I realised that was stupid because that's not me at all. And music's always been the thing that's kind of been a constant in my life. So I've always been doing it, and it's always been the subject that I've just been the best at, really. So it just felt like a natural decision for me to study music.
Nice. And is that like a common theme amongst, like, do you think a lot of people who are thinking about choosing music have to decide, like, feel like they need to make either a decision that they think is more practical or a decision that's more towards with what they really enjoy doing?
I think, especially if you're at Cambridge or Oxford, that you should definitely go with what you're most passionate about and what you're most interested about. Because if you're not interested in it, it's going to be a long 3 or 4 years. So I definitely would always go for what you're really interested in. Because at the end of the day, everything will work out regardless. I mean, if you've got a degree, you're already in a very good position, regardless of what it's in. So I definitely think just follow your heart.
Nice. Yeah, that's inspiring advice. And for people who are watching who like could see themselves, who might be interested in doing a music degree, we was wondering how much music do you need to know beforehand? Like, is it prerequisite to be a musician beforehand, studying music?
So, interesting kind of question, I guess, because you don't necessarily need to be a performer to study music. In fact, lots of people here don't do any of the performance modules. I did performance in first year, but I haven't for the past 2 years. I still like to play, but not for the degree. But there's a lot of people who maybe used to play the trumpet, but now kind of it's just not what they do anymore. I think coming into it, a lot of people have played an instrument growing up, and that's how you kind of get into it, or at least a lot of people do. But it's not a prerequisite, just an interest in the music, because I think that the course here is very good in the fact that it taps into lots of different kind of disciplines, and that's why I really like it, because I can explore lots of different ideas, but through music, which is something I'm very comfortable with dealing with. So it's a way for me to explore these things that maybe I wouldn't have encountered before. So no, you don't have to be a musician, but some sort of interest in it is obviously helpful and tends to be what people have done.
Nice. Because you were saying before that you were split between either like doing physics or doing music, which you had a huge passion for. Is that kind of passion to do a music degree, does that come from a passion of loving to perform, or is studying music at university, or at least at Cambridge, something, it seems like it's something more than just performing?
Yeah, so I think from my experience, I was always a performer,
Yeah.
primarily, but it's at GCSE and A-level music where I really got into kind of music analysis and looking at specific pieces and understanding, I guess, the Western canon to a greater degree than I had previously. And that for me was where I was like, oh, this is actually really interesting. I'd always been performing and I'd always loved it. But studying these works, especially at A-level, that's how I knew that I wanted to do a degree rather than conservatoire, which is where people that kind of are more performers tend to go. So for me, it was never really a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. And moving on to the course, can you give us like a brief overview of like the structure of like the Cambridge music course?
Yes. So in first year, so it's a 3-year course. In the first year, you do 6 modules, I think, 6 modules, and 4 of them. No, you do 7 modules. 5 of them are compulsory, and then 2 you pick. So the 5 compulsory ones are history, analysis, tonal skills, which is like stylistic composition. So writing song accompaniments in the style of Schubert or kind of an extension of A-level Bach chorales. Those 3, a paper called General Musicianship or Practical Musicianship, which is keyboard skills and a bit of conducting, a bit of sight singing, a bit of transposition. And then there's one other, or maybe there's not. I can't remember what it is. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then you get a choice to do 2 more modules out of a possible 4, which are the 4 possibilities are performance, composition, extended essay, or a thing called history workshop, where you kind of the last 2 years it's been on Beethoven, you explore some sources to do with him and kind of do a bigger essay as part of that. So in my first year I did performance and extended essay for my 2 extra modules. And then in second year you do 6 modules, 3 are compulsory, which is history, analysis and tonal skills again. And then you get a much broader choice of about 15 more modules that you can pick from. So last year for me I did music and global history, which was kind of introducing music outside of the Western canon. Introduction to ethnomusicology, which is ethnomusicology, I guess. So doing some field work for part of the essay for that. And then a module called Music in Jazz Age Paris, which was all about the 1920s, really, 1920s and 30s in France, and which composers were there, which I loved. That was definitely one of the best modules I've done. It was excellent. So, and then third year, you get 6 modules again, but you get to choose completely, so nothing's prescribed. So this year I've done dissertation, choral performance, which is kind of an extension of the first year practical musicianship module. And then I did music at the margins of Victorian society, Ottoman oralities, global pop music, and on Messiaen, a paper on Messiaen.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, it does sound like you have there's a huge range of opportunities in the music course. Can you tell us more about the Jazz Age and Paris module? What that was like?
That was, I'm going to have to cast my mind back.
Yeah, of course.
About kind of Ravel and Debussy and Stravinsky and kind of the different kind of characters that were in Paris during post-war, and kind of what they were doing and how there were all these different searches for different kind of modernist aesthetics and how these different interactions across the city shaped kind of the music.
Nice. That sounds really cool. For sure. And with regards to like some of the main modules, like when I was preparing for this podcast, I was asking a friend, he does a lot of performance, what like modules like tonal skills means, and she actually didn't know. I was wondering if you could shed some light on what the modules like tonal, what does tonal skills means, or music analysis?
Yeah, so tonal skills is kind of a composition module, but that builds on kind of writing in a pastiche style or writing in a certain style, basically. So in first year, you have to do a song accompaniment in the style of Schubert. You also have to do a string quartet, like a classical string quartet. So they give you the opening 8 bars, and then you extend it kind of using those first eight bars into about a 32 bar piece, or it's not very long. So those two are the harmony aspects. And then you also have the counterpoint aspects where you have to do some palestrina, so kind of filling in points of imitation. And you also have to write a fugue. So they give you the subject and you write the fugue, the subject and then the answer and then a bit more. So that's first year. And then second year, you get a bit more freedom. So there's more, you can do a motet or you can do a song, which is what I did. You can do orchestration, which you do 3 out of like about 6 or 7 options. So I did orchestration, song, and a sonata, so a movement in sonata form. So kind of a development of the skills you learned in first year in the second year coursework.
Nice. So it sounds like if someone's really interested in music theory, as well as performing, like it sounds like you're able to do both in the music course at Cambridge.
Yeah, definitely. I think the course is very good in that it taps into a lot of different things, and that's why I like it, because you can, do one thing from, it's completely different, and you can access a lot through kind of the specifics of the course. They're not necessarily limiting, but they open your eyes to kind of all these different things that are going on.
Nice. And I imagine, because it's all, am I right in thinking it's also a humanities degree in that there's essay questions, you're building up your essay writing skills, which then like building skills that will be useful for like a variety of careers after university, as well as the music performance side of things.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this year I've done 5 out of 6 of mine have all been essay based.
Okay.
And I know people who've done 6 out of 6. So yeah, there's definitely room. So when you've also got people that are doing, 6 or 5 or 6 essay papers, but then on the flip side, you've got the people that are doing maybe 1, and the rest of it's all practical or performance or composition based. So there's definitely like a massive range of what you can do.
Nice. That's really cool. I think, the more of these podcasts I do, the more I realise how well thought out a lot of the Cambridge courses are, and how much choice that they give the students. So we've got us like the teaching. How are music students taught in the course?
So we get lectures for kind of all of the compulsory material almost, and then supervision. So every module basically has a supervision. You get about 4 per module, which is 3 in the term the course is run, and then 1 in the Easter for revision. And that's normally it depends. For tonal skills, it's 1-on-1 most of the time. Same with like the practical musicianship ones, they're always tend to be 1-on-1, at least in my experience. And dissertation and extended essay is also personalised to you. And then the other ones are in groups of 3 or 4 max. I've never been in a supervision with more than 4 people. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3. So that's where they set the essay questions, and you do the essays, you do the extra reading, and then you go to the supervision ready to kind of discuss those ideas.
Nice. And like, how have you found the supervisions?
I think they've been, really good. I've always enjoyed going to a supervision because it's just the kind of extra step that I don't think you get at other universities. And also I think it's a much more personable system. I know like my brother at a different university, he's maybe more of a slips into the crowd because they don't have this 1-on-1 or more smaller group sessions. And I think it's great because you can just email them at any time and say, can you help me with this? Or can you suggest this? And I think it makes Cambridge feel like a much more personal experience because everyone kind of knows you a bit better.
So I imagine like if you had a specific question on like a specific topic, you can just talk to that teacher directly in a supervision. Yeah,
and even the lecturers, I've been up to lecturers at the end if they're not necessarily my supervisor and said, can you clarify this? And they're all very much open to helping all the time, which is very good.
Nice. So another question that we have here is, what are the like music facilities like in the music faculty?
So you can book a room in the faculty very easily.
Yeah.
And they've obviously got a massive concert hall, which is where you do all of your exams.
Yeah.
And if you do performance in third year, you do your recital on the concert hall, which is very very professional, really.
Yeah.
You've got lots of different rooms. You've got lots of different lecture rooms. You've got a whole gamelan set up with traditional instruments with a gamelan society that's run. It's a very big. You've got building. Also, I think most humanities on Sidgwick don't have their own building. I mean, something like law does, and we've got our own building, so that's quite good for a humanities subject. We've got the library, the Pendlebury Library, which has loads of scores. Every book, like the nichest books, you can find in Cambridge. So yes, and there's lots of different kind of lecture series that go on, organised by kind of the teachers or the fellows or whatever, who that you can go to, which have, I don't know, free sandwiches and tea and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good faculty.
Nice. And can you explain what is Sidgwick, or like the Sidgwick site, if anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, so Sidgwick is basically where all the humanities are, for the most part. So English, the languages, AIMS, ASNAC, law, history, philosophy, music. So all of it's just a place in Cambridge, which is about 10 minutes from Trinity Hall, where we have our lectures.
Is it much of a social space, like during the week or during the day?
I think so. I mean, over my 3 years, me and my friends have got kind of in the habit of, our post-lecture, there's a cafe that we always go, and they do all sorts, like paninis at lunchtime. They've started doing pizza and like jacket potatoes. So that's very much a social space that kind of happens naturally after lectures, at least for music.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it always seems like a bustling community.
It's always very busy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Something that we touched on before, I wanted to go into is, from what I know, a lot of people who are considering studying music are also, as you were saying, might decide to go into a conservatoire instead. And I was wondering if you could compare the two, and which would you advise for whom, etc.
So this is actually a question I got asked when I was doing my interviews here and at Manchester. They were like, so why do you want to go to university and not conservatoire? And for me, it was never even a question. I was always, like, I love to perform, but I also was so interested in the kind of the history of it all that it was never a question for me, I think. And then, so I was like, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, why are they asking me, almost, because it was never a choice for me. But then coming here and meeting everyone that turned down, and a lot of people got like full scholarships to these conservatoires and still turned them down to come here, and hearing them talk about, why they did it. And most of the time here, those people are going to now go to conservatoire and do a postgrad there, and then probably become professional musicians. So I think it really depends what you want out of your undergrad, or how you want to do music. So for me, I always knew I wanted to do more than performing, because it felt more meaningful and interesting to me. But if you know that you just want to be a performer, then maybe conservatoire's the thing for you. I definitely think that if it's easier to go university conservatoire rather than conservatoire university to a degree, it's obviously not impossible at all. But I think that's more of the traditional path, and I think it has been for many years. So that's why a lot of people now are going to go to conservatoire.
So do you know a lot of people like in your cohort now finishing the undergrads who are wanting to go into conservatoire?
Yeah, and I think also quite a common thing for music students to do here is take a year out but stay in Cambridge, maybe teach some people the piano or sing in a choir for an extra year, kind of maybe build up the network, and then go to conservatoire, get some more experience in an environment that we know. So I know that a lot of people are doing that. Some are going straight to conservatoire. So it's a big mix. Some of us aren't doing it that at all. People apply for law. So there's just so many different possibilities.
Nice. So like doing music at Cambridge or anywhere else as a degree doesn't shut the door of conservatoire at all?
No, not at all. No.
Nice. I mean, that'd be reassuring for a lot of people to hear all the different things that grads are about to go on to do. So bring it back to Trinity Hall. Are there any music opportunities at Trinity Hall? Is there anything that you're a part of?
Yes. So Trinity Hall has, I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
We've got 2 music spaces,
Yeah.
which is good because we've got kind of the smaller Wong Avery, which is a very nice intimate space, which is specifically designed for acoustics. And you've got a harpsichord and a nice piano in there, which is where the choir rehearses as well. And then you've also got the music room, which is a bigger space, which has got a drum kit and amps and another piano, which is actually quite unusual for colleges to have bigger music rooms. Yeah. So quite often I get emails and texts saying, "Oh, can you book the music room for our big rehearsal?" Because other colleges just don't have it. Yeah. We've also got an organ, which I'm sure if you're meeting with Andy, he'll tell you all about the organ, and a chapel. So they're the spaces. We've got the Trinity Hall Chapel Choir, who do evensong once a week and compline normally every other week on Thursday nights. And they rehearse 3 times a week. So I was in that, in the choir. We've also got the Music Society, which I'm currently in, like, the chair of the Music Society. So this year I've organised all of the kind of weekly recitals that take place every Wednesday night, which are internal and visiting musicians that come in, give a half an hour, 40-minute recital, and then it's followed by drinks receptions that we organise. Also a big thing that's kind of been revived in the last 3 years is the presence of the Trinity Hall musical. So when I was in my first year, they brought it back, and I think it used to be a thing like many years ago, but it got brought back with Stephen Sondheim's The Little Night Music in my first year. So I played in the band for that. And then in my second year, I directed it with my friend. So we did Stephen Sondheim's Merrily We Roll Along. So a bit of a Sondheim trend. And then this year I was conducting it as a musical director, and we did Jason Robert Brown's Bridges of Madison County. So those are really fun opportunities because it's not always just Tit Hall. We try and, do Tit Hall to start with, but inevitably you get people from other colleges helping. So it's a big communal event. In second year, we sold out completely. We won like Varsity's Best Musical of the Year award.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
So I think it's definitely, and I speak to people who are in kind of more of the theatre scene, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Trinity Hall's kind of becoming known for its musical," and I'm like, that's good.
That is good, yeah.
That's good. So there's a lot of those things. So we've got the musical, the choir, all these different facilities.
Nice. So which of these? So there's a lot of questions I have. The musicals, are they something they're going to continue running?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be here next year, so but I know that there's people in the year below me who are very much into that and who want to keep it going. So and I remember at the after party last year, they were already talking about what's going to happen next year. So I very much hope that will continue. Because we've always managed, the last 2 years, we've managed to make a profit. So, which is very unusual for the musicals. So there's definitely like the money there to keep it going.
Nice. That's really cool. And so like, I mean, at least for me, that music society seems like could mean anything. What kind of things fall underneath? Like, what kind of things that can people get involved with in the music society?
So the music society, I guess, is primarily the weekly recitals, which we try to give them like to Tit Hall members, but also get outsiders. So anyone can come to these. They're completely open to everyone. And then the drinks reception afterwards. Anyone can sign up. We also have kind of showcase recitals. So we always have a freshers showcase recital when any fresher can come and play anything they want to any, it's the most relaxed thing ever. And it's just a really nice opportunity for the years to get together and just perform. So in my first year, I want to say there were about 40 people who came to just sit in the music room, have a fun and just play some relaxed music. And it doesn't have to be, the best thing in the world. And it can be any genre. So we have those for freshers, and we also have a second and third year one. And we're also trying to like collaborate a bit more with more societies this year within the college to kind of connect. So I think last year there was a collaboration between the Music Society and the English Society. So kind of joining forces there. That sort of stuff. I had another thing I was going to say, but it's gone.
No, it's good.
I've remembered it, sorry. And then also this year I organised a Christmas karaoke, which we held in the bar literally on like one of the last days of term. So we got a bit of budget to get some free drinks. So attract the people in, and then it was just projecting. We got my projector from home and projected the like lyrics on the thing, and that was very fun. And it coincided with the boat club dinner, so suddenly all like rowers kind of descended on the karaoke. So it was very fun, and that's obviously no stakes in that at all.
Yeah, of course. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, the music society at Trinity Hall seems to be where it's at. And that's all separate to the college choir, I imagine.
Yes.
So is that like another society that people like can get involved with?
Yeah. So the college choir is run by Andrew Arthur, the director of music and director of studies here. And yeah, I guess technically it's not affiliated with the music society.
Yeah.
But there is quite a lot of crossover. With people maybe giving recitals or attending. And also we've got 2 organ scholars here and choral scholarships that also can happen here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the choir. But I think when I joined Cambridge from school, so I took a year out and then came here, and I remember joining, and I felt like a lot of the stuff was run by students. And I think what I liked about the choir was that it wasn't, and it was run by Andrew, who is obviously a professional musician and has a lot more, arguably more knowledge to impart. So I quite liked the seniority of the supervision within the choir to help improve.
Yeah, and he's lovely. He seems really nice, and he seems really passionate about the choir.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're doing their annual concert this lunchtime, which I'm going to go to. So yeah, very much so. Nice,
that's really cool. And that's specific to Trinity Hall, right? And Andrew runs the Trinity Hall choir.
Yes. So each college will have their own director of music who does their choir, and Andrew does the Trinity Hall one.
Nice. And are there like to all of these college societies, are there equivalent university-wide societies like for the choir or for music?
Yes, I think it's more instrumental is kind of the university side of things, but college-wise is the singing. There definitely are university-wide choirs. There's chamber choir and symphony chorus and stuff like that. But I think on the whole, the singers tend to stick to chapel choirs. That obviously that's not completely true at all. But you don't really have as many orchestral opportunities within colleges, unless it's big colleges like Trinity or Clare that do. So I was in all 3 years I've been in the wind orchestra, and then the last 2 years I've been in the university orchestra on piccolo, which is and that was conducted. They get professional conductors in for that one, so I like that because again it's a kind of, you get the professional input into the performance, and they always sell out the whole of West Road, so it's very fun to play. It's a massive groups, but there's absolutely no shortage of musical opportunities in Cambridge. There's almost too many. There's just so many on both the university level, audition, non-auditions, choirs, or like DJ societies, or everything. There's just so much, so you will never run out. And that's not even going into like theatre and stuff like that. So
I don't know. Don't know how you had any time to study.
No.
But it all worked out.
Yeah.
Did you have a favourite amongst the different societies?
I've enjoyed all of them, and the thing is that by doing these societies, especially on a university scale, you meet other music students. So like I think the music department's quite fluid in the fact that you can have, everyone's kind of friends with everyone. There's not really divides across the years. So you meet a lot of people, and then they'll ask you to play in their projects at their college. So by doing that, you end up just playing in way too many concerts and doing way too many events, which is like part of the reason I wanted to come here, is to have this music scene where I could just do it all.
Nice.
But it's very much the nice social side of meeting all these new people, getting involved in their projects, traveling around Cambridge to different venues and playing in all sorts of things that I didn't think I would.
Nice. That's really cool. Wow, I want to do it all over again and do all these music things. Sounds like so much fun. And lastly, slightly bit of off topic question, but a lot of students when they're thinking about Cambridge, sadly you can only apply to either Oxford or Cambridge, and was wondering, were you ever thinking about Oxford, and if so, what made you choose Cambridge, etc.?
Yeah, so I actually originally did think Oxford. So when I was in year 12, it was COVID. COVID hit halfway through year 12, so I didn't do very well in my UCAS grades. At that point, I wanted to go to Oxford, but then I got my UCAS grades, and I basically was told I didn't have the grades to go, so I couldn't apply. But then the year later, I did my A-levels, got the results to apply, and I was like, well, I'm going to apply because so then I applied on my year out, and for me then it was never a question, because I remember looking at the courses side by side, and just the Cambridge one just spoke to me way more, and I liked the Oxford one. I don't know, because I haven't looked at it in 3 years or 4 years, but I just remember feeling much more inspired by the Cambridge course. And I'm also quite near to Oxford at home, about like 40 minutes, so I wanted to get a bit further away.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think choosing the university due to its course is a good way to spend 3 years. Wow, I think that's everything. Unless there's anything else you had for any advice for upcoming music students.
Any advice? Listen to lots of music, I guess. You can never know enough music. That's one of my things I need to do over the summer. Just listen to it all and enjoy it. Yeah.
Nice, cool. Well, thanks, Laura, for such an interesting podcast.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure, and thanks for the viewers for watching, whether it's on your podcasting platform or on YouTube. We're hoping to do podcasts on all of the courses that we offer at Cambridge. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Nice.
There's one more like Trinity Hall Instrumental Award, which I forgot to mention. I don't know if that's worth like just throwing in or.
Yeah, we can throw that in.
I don't know. Okay. I can do it in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I can edit it in very seamlessly.
Okay.
So I believe that there's some like university-wide like instrumental awards and college instrumental awards. Could you like expand on that a little bit?
Yes. So the university offers a thing called IES, or Instrumental Awards Scheme, which is for players to be put into chamber groups and then play as a group, basically as a chamber group to a high standard. But not every instrument is covered by the university award. So what we have at Trinity Hall is the Trinity Hall Instrumental Award, which is primarily targeted at those instruments that aren't covered by the university scheme. Yep. So I think in the past years we've had like someone win the prize on the bagpipes or the saxophone, or I want to say even like the accordion one year. So these kind of more untraditional instruments that aren't catered to by the university. Andrew kind of picks one during Michaelmas after some auditions, and then you get a prize which you can use on, most people I think use it on lessons or music supplies. So in first year it was like co-won by 2 people, so then I used the money on some lessons and to buy some more music and some stuff to learn with. So yeah, it's just another musical kind of thing that's offered at Trinity Hall, which isn't necessarily offered in other colleges. Nice,
because there's also you don't have to expand on this if you don't know much about it, but there's like choral scholarships and organ scholarships, and that's, can you expand a bit more about what those are as well?
Yeah, so Trinity Hall has 2 organ scholars, and we also have choral scholars, which are just people that are present in the choir, who are often very good singers, and the organist accompany all of the services, and it's more of a, you have to apply with UCAS, I think. I'm not technically a choral scholar, so I'm not 100% sure. But, or if you don't apply for it, which actually no one in my year applied with the choral scholarship scheme, you can just audition with Andrew at the start of Michaelmas, and you can get into the choir. So it's very much, you can be a choral scholar or you can just sing in the choir. It's not really,
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like there's a huge range between institutionally, there's opportunities, but as well as student-run things as well, which is really cool. Nice. Brilliant. I'll fit that in when we're talking about